Today we're going to look at how Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central integrates seamlessly with Microsoft's Power Platform. That is, Microsoft's intuitive, easy-to-use platform to write code and automate processes. First, we'll use Microsoft Forms in order to add a new vendor to Business Central. We'll actually use Forms as a data entry screen, which we can email to a prospective vendor to fill out. Forms will seamlessly pass this data to Power Automate. And Power Automate will perform two functions. Email me a notification that a new vendor has been created, and then it'll actually add that vendor to Business Central. Finally, we'll look at Power Apps and how we can look up and edit that particular vendor using a smartphone. The new vendor onboarding process usually begins with a request for information and filling out a W-9 form. Forms will allow us to send an email to the prospective vendor to fill out the information required for payment. This is completely customizable, but that prospective vendor would just click and be taken to the form screen where they can enter information required. Now we'll just enter information. Now, keeping in mind that this form can be customized to include other information beyond W-9 or personal information, such as ACH numbers for automatic paying and things of that nature. Then we submit. And now this information is passed from Forms to Power Automate. Now let's take a look at what Power Automate is ready to do. Now here we are in the Power Automate system. I have several Power Automate flows, but the two that we're mostly concerned with are new vendor notification and new vendor W-9 form. If you remember earlier, I said that Power Automate would accomplish two functions. Email me a notification of a new vendor, and then add that vendor to the Business Central system. I just wanted to show you what this flow looks like so you can see the ease and seamlessness of which this system works. As you can see, when Business Central gets a new vendor record, it sends an email directly to the person involved. That would be me in this test case. And I did indeed receive an email here telling me that a new vendor has been added to the ASM test company. I also wanted to show you the new vendor 1099 form flow. When a response is created in Forms, as we entered in the last step, it takes the response details and creates a new record in Business Central. And if I flip the Business Central on my vendor screen, and if you remember, The new vendor we created was called Power App Consulting on 123 Any Old Street in Wilmington, Delaware, with some of the tax information that was provided. So this all happened seamlessly and with very little code. The final topic I want to cover for adding a vendor in Business Central is Power Apps. Power Apps is part of the Power Platform that allows you to write low-code applications that integrate directly with Business Central. These applications can be for a browser or a tablet or a smartphone. The example in front of you is written and is showing in an iPhone emulator, and it's linked it directly with my Business Central vendors table. If you look as I scroll down, you can see all my vendors, but I can certainly click up here or tap up here in the search window and look for that vendor. If you remember, was Power App Consulting, and there they are. Perhaps I got a notification of a new vendor and I'm looking at it on my own iPhone. Perhaps I just want to change something like a suite address. Suite 235, and I can save it. I can also add a new vendor. So I could do this from the phone, but let's check on the vendor record that we just changed. I'm back in Business Central. I look up Power App Consulting, and there we are at Suite 235. So this is just the final link in the Power Platform that allows us quick, easy, low-code, seamless integration with our Business Central ERP. In summary, we saw how the Power Platform integrates seamlessly with Microsoft's Business Central ERP. And we saw the example when creating a new vendor. We saw how Microsoft Forms can be used to create data entry screens, to log in W-9 and vendor information. We saw how easy it was to email that to a prospective vendor. We saw how the data is seamlessly transmitted to Power Automate, and we saw how Power Automate can be used to notify someone of a new vendor or a new record, and how to automatically create that record in Business Central. And finally, we saw Power Apps in action and how it can be used to create iPhone, tablet, or browser apps to integrate with Business Central. I'm Frank Kaminsky with Intellitech Solutions, and I hope that helped.